Welcome, my very dear to me 10 subscribers. Welcome to a video on about the barbarians of Universe 5189. Those who are known through the world as the barbarians of the universe. The Morations. Now, with the Morations, we have a lot to cover on these guys. I've put an absurd amount of work into these guys for some reason. Probably not even going to end up covering all of it in this one video. But I'm going to cover I'm going to try to hit most of the main points, and yeah, hopefully by this you'll know more about them, a lot more about them, because there's a lot to know. Yeah. Anyways, let's get right into it. So right away, few things that you're probably going to be noticing is this guy doesn't really have a nose. Where his nose should be, there's some sort of stuff going on here, and there's all these weird spiky things coming out of them. Yeah. So, the reason that these guys are called barbarians of 5189 is because their offensive and defensive capabilities are rather they're not lacking. Let's put it that. So, yeah. So what I'm saying by offensive here is this stuff. So, Morations, they don't have any nose cartilage. They don't have the bridge. They're not the little nostril bits. None of that weird stuff. That's why noses are made of the same material as ears. I don't know, but these guys don't have any of that. So yeah. Anyways, what they can do, something quite interesting actually, is that they can shoot superheated air out of their would-be nose. Now, they can still breathe through it on all that normally, but when they choose, they can start puffing up and glowing their chests like a dragon would. Some dragons, anyways. And then a few moments later, just go like... and yeah, that's just about it. Also, when they have drinking enough water that day, as not get dehydrated, they can, instead of using air, they can use water to make a giant temporary sort of like smoke screen or just steam screen. But it does take a lot of water and energy from them to do that. So yeah, but it does burn a lot. But yeah, that's about that. And now for the defensive thing that I was talking about. Now these little spiky things, they look pretty threatening at first, but those aren't what you should be scared of. You should be just scared of this. Those are what you should be worried about how you're going to hurt this guy. So you look at this, and yeah, there's not much right now because I didn't take the time to draw all of it. But this is a bit what becomes a sort of exoskeleton. Yeah. So for Morations, their exoskeleton will always cover at least 90% of their body. So it's pretty hard to get an opening as to where to hit. And you might be thinking, like, oh, well, why don't I just break a few of their bones? That's the other thing. Their exoskeleton is nigh indestructible, which means it's next to impossible to destroy. It would take an absurd amount of energy to manage to break one of these things. And yeah, So yeah, that's basically it. Yeah. So their exoskeleton. It's like a fingerprint for Morations. Every Moration, which I'll say something first. Technically, plural for Morations is pronounced Moration. Singular is Moration. Moration. It's not that big of a detail, so don't worry too much about it. Anyways, exoskeleton. The Morations exoskeleton, like I said, is like their own unique fingerprint. Every Moration exoskeleton is completely different from the others. So yeah, this guy, I'm imagining them having like multiple sort of like segments of bones coming out of their neck and wrapping around their face in a sort of like different strips of bones. So this would be like right down the middle of their head, and then more would come out of the neck right here and here and here, and sort of making a little cagey looking mask. And yeah, so most of the time, it's just like single like strips of bone or like single pieces, like small lines of bone or whatever, kind of like your arms or legs would have. But sometimes for like say the skull, they'll have like segments of a skull, like as if their exoskeleton skull is like broken into three pieces, and then whenever it's activated or toggled or whatever, then all those three pieces will like come out of their somewhere on their face or on their neck, and then merge together to form their little helmet. So yeah. Now this seems a bit powerful, but considering that we're working with magic in this world, in this universe and stuff, and a shit ton of it out of that, this isn't actually as powerful as it might seem. It's pretty to scale with everything else. Also, they are a bit powerful even for in the magic world, but Morations. You see, they have a bit of a rough childhood growing up. So their exoskeleton, they're not born with spots for the bones to poke out of. No, their skin's fully solid and all that, like just flat out like ours. But over time, they'll start to get like itchy spots and then scabby spots, then bleeding spots, then less bleeding spots, but still terribly itchy and very weird looking, and as if it's infected, but it's not. Hopefully, and all that, and eventually, when a flight or freeze moment comes up, then their exoskeleton will suddenly just like pop out, just like, oh yeah, I've been here the entire time. Don't worry about anything like that, and pop out of all those new little weird giant supersized pores and stuff. Which, by the way, they're once they grow up and stuff, those supersized pores I was just talking about, they're basically invisible. They're like they're very translucent. It looks like the rest of the skin until they kind of come out of their body and all that. Now, a bit of a problem here, though, is that the Morations, if they're pores or whatever, I'm referring to them as pores for now, but that's not their actual name. I don't have a name for them yet. If their so-called pores were, say, not fully formed, but have started forming, and they were to encounter a fight, flight, or freeze response, then, well, yeah, it can be. It just like if it decides, well, my host is in my body, the exoskeleton's like, oh well, body's in danger. I might hurt them, but guess what? Adrenaline's gonna take care of the pain, and they'll have a new exoskeleton. Maybe a bit less blood because I'm kind of sprouting out of their arms and stuff without having spots out of the arms to come out of. But whatever, who cares? It'll be fine as long as they can protect themselves from what could or maybe just could not be a danger to them. So yeah, if their pores aren't fully grown, then and they encounter a response for their exoskeleton to come out, then it'll just burst out of their body, all violent and shit. Yeah, it's not a pretty sight, but it's still pretty common. Because like with the Morations, fight, flight, or freeze responses are the only thing that actually activates their exoskeleton. They can't just do it on command. That's another thing that helps balance them out too, from being super overpowered. But yeah, anyways, point is for all of this, don't go after them in a fight. Now, moving on, we look at some more specific stuff to do with Morations. There are two general sort of families of Morations. There are two different types of Morations. There's strength-based Morations and what I call steam-based Morations. The strength-based Morations, as I call them, have they're generally a bit bulkier, have a lot more muscle and stuff all over them, and have a wider bone structure to do with both their exoskeleton and normal skeleton. And the steam Morations, they have a generally more lean body, and a more compact exoskeleton and inner skeleton and endoskeleton, like interior or exterior, yeah, whatever. So their normal skeleton and their exoskeleton are both more generally compact than the strength-based Morations. Also, for steam ones, their jawline usually reaches a bit higher up and is a bit more slanted, and a bit more steep. and the strength-based have lower set jaw lines that are a bit more evened out towards the ground, rather. But yeah, those are the two general Morations. Final thing I wanted to, one of the main final things anyways, that I wanted to cover on the Moration species is that they are very family and friend based. They will do anything to help protect their friends or family, no matter what the cost. They're like the big siblings of the species of the friend and family world. So say that like this is a Moration right here, and this is a friend. Now, somebody goes and messes with their friend. I don't have a pencil with me, so just like. Friend is a little bit hurt, maybe a bit bruised up or something. The Moration will hunt down the person that gave them even the slightest bruise, down to the ends of the earth, and then deliver them the pain that they gave their friend a thousand times over. So yeah, they're just very protective, basically, in a more simple aspect. That's a more simple way of saying. And the last thing I'll cover on this video, this is just a little thing. These are the general areas that you'll see glowing on a Moration when they're about to blast superheated air or steam. Oh shoot. Very sorry, I completely forgot about something to mention. Strength-based Morations, as it might seem, are more strength-based. Steam-based Morations are much better at heating up the air around them and stuff with their little nostril blasty thing. They'll like have way more powerful heat blasts. So sorry about that, but I'm not taking the time to record all this over again and do all the extra editing and stuff because I have stuff to do today. Anyways, these are as I was saying. These are the general areas that you'll usually see glowing on a Moration's body when they're about to blast things. So like mid stomach, lungs, neck, cheeks, and general chest area. And on rare occasions, you'll see other spots like over here or like anywhere along the arms or anywhere along the limbs that will glow, but only again in very rare occasions. Usually it's a genetic defect that causes it to glow. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Sorry if it was a bit awkward or confusing at times. I'm still not very used to this whole one-sided conversation thing, talking to people without actually talking to them, but anyways, hope you enjoyed. Bye.